Welcome to It Starts With Courage podcast with Kat and Jen. What is it? It's everything. Everything you want in life starts with courage. Yes.
All right. Well,
Happy Tuesday, friends.
happy. Isn't it Monday that our?
Oh my gosh. Happy Monday. My bad.
Oh my gosh. It's been a long week for you, huh?
Yeah, clearly.
Okay. So, Kat, I ran across this on Instagram
Mm-hmm.
and I saved it because I thought it was great. It talked about the 17 hard things to do, things you have to do to be a great leader. And I know we talked about leadership earlier in our podcast. So,
I think it was like episode 3
yeah,
or something
it
like
was
that,
a long time ago.
which you guys should listen to. It's actually a great,
It's one of our
episode.
best.
One of my favorites.
So I thought, man, like some of these things on here, like I really agree with. So I thought today I'd read them to you and see what you think.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, you have to make the call you're afraid to make.
Oh, and as a leader, I think that's tough because, and just thinking about this, every now and again when I talk to people about speaking with their managers and their bosses, and let's say in a situation where you work in a team and you feel that this team is not doing what they're supposed to do, and you need to make this call to say, okay. And as a team lead, I think that's difficult because you want to manage relationships both sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't want to be, people aren't always going to like you when you make that call that's needed. And do you have the balls to make the call?
I know it's hard. It's not even just, I mean, that's just hard to do all the way
Yeah.
around. I have 2 comments on that. One,
Today, Jen.
sorry. The one reason in real estate, like one thing that just drives me bonkers
Yeah.
is when a lender there's a problem with somebody's loan and they will not call me back.
Yeah.
They will not call and tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
Like literally a hard call to make.
Yeah.
Like make the hard call. And we talked about
What
that
is-
on the podcast, but like just
Tell
say
me.
it.
Yeah.
Just say it. Just say it. If you want to do business with me as a lender, if you're like representing a buyer and I have the seller,
Mhm.
and you're trying to get in good graces with me, and you're, because that's how they always do. They
Yeah.
they try to wiggle their way in that way and like try to get business. But like if you're the agent or the lender that doesn't call me back,
Yeah.
or will send like a passive email back or whatever, like I'm not doing business with you.
Mhm.
Like I know, been in this business long enough to know when something's not going right.
Yeah.
You got to be able to have that hard conversation.
And I think that applies everywhere in
Mhm.
different positions. Sometimes you just have to say it, and people can tell when
Mhm.
you are just being passive or you're just dragging things out. And that's the most frustrating thing.
And so I'm going to give a personal example on
Uh-huh.
this too. So we're building a house right now,
Mhm.
and so we have our kitchen set up,
Yeah.
and the builder had one idea of how they wanted the kitchen to be, and they kind of framed up the sides of where our vent hood and stuff is going to be. And I based this kitchen off of another project they had done. And so I thought it was going to be exactly like that. And so when he was telling me about it, I was like, oh no,
No.
that's not how I want it. But they had already framed up the sides and everything. And so,
Oh.
I was talking to Bob about it, and, they kind of left things up for a while. And then, they came back to me, and the designer came back
Mhm.
and said, I really think we need to do this. And I was like, no,
No. Yeah.
this is what I want. I don't care if you have to take it down.
Mhm.
This is what I want.
Yeah.
Like, this is my house that I'm going to live in, that I'm paying for. This is what I want. And they were great about it, and they took it down. And so that was a very hard area of contention
Mhm.
in my household with me and my husband of
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's going to cost us money to take it down. Like, don't you just want to keep it how it is? And
Yeah.
I had a very clear vision of what I wanted that to look like. And I was like, no, like
Yeah.
when you're building a
Especially when
house,
you're
you have
paying.
to, you're putting your foot down, and like, you know, they say like building a house with your spouse is one of the hardest things that you can do, because
Mhm.
you both have so much like invested in it, and
Yeah.
and you want it certain ways in your head, but that may not be how your spouse
Wants
is.
it.
But I did put my foot down on that and said, no,
No.
like I'm very clear on what I want. And so they took it down, and I was out of town, and he sent me a message saying, hey, they took down the walls. It
Yeah.
looks great. That was the right call. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Thank
it was
goodness.
really hard it was hard. It was a lot of pressure
Yeah.
to just go with what already was there.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
already built. It was already the plan. It was a lot of pressure, you know, but you have to like make that hard call. We're never going to get through these 17 if we don't get going. Okay. You have to get up earlier than you want
to plan. Yes.
Well, you went through that with your training for your thing, like to fit everything in the day.
Especially because like I still had to be I have to be a leader in my business. I have to be a leader in my career. So in order to make that time for myself as well, as you said, you have to fit everything in. And that may involve late nights and early mornings, because you have to prepare. I think leadership takes preparation. And that's one thing that we never talk about. Leadership requires preparation, because you can't lead without knowing what the plan is.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. You have to give more than you get in return right away.
100% agree. It may require more of an investment from you. And I think with leadership, it's one of those things where people have to see it before they can really always believe and trust in it.
Yeah.
So this may require more investment in your time to do certain or put things in place. It may require an initial financial investment in order for your team or people around you to see the dream. Definitely. I agree with that one 100%. Like you can't expect to lead from nothing. I don't know if that makes sense. You can't expect to lead from nothing.
Yeah. I mean, people, they will work harder for a leader that they truly believe cares about them and their success and their best interest.
Yeah. And I look at it like even with my business, I had to invest a lot of time in it in order to understand how things work, so that when I now am at a point where I can have a team, I'm able to lead them and tell them exactly what we need and how to do it and what the expectations are. But if I never put that initial time investment, I wouldn't know what I want and what's needed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to care more about others than they care about you.
Yes, because I don't think they'll always like you.
Right.
And if you don't care about others, I found this when I put events together, is that you have to care more about them in order to be graceful when they may not deserve it, because maybe at the time they just don't get it. They don't see.
They don't know what they don't know.
Yes.
You know what they don't know,
exactly.
But they don't know what they don't know.
Exactly.
And you've got to be like, okay,
yeah,
I'm going to let you figure that out. And then you have to be graceful when they do figure it out and you were right.
And I think even with other managers in positions, have you ever heard, when a manager says, I'm trying to groom you for something?
The young lion.
Yeah. You may be reluctant, but this person cares enough for you that they see your potential and are willing to lead and push you in a certain way. You may not get it, but they care about your development in order to push you enough. So yeah, you have to care.
Yeah. You have to feel unsure and insecure when playing safe seems smarter.
Say that again.
You have to feel unsure and insecure when playing it safe seems smarter.
I'm hearing it, but I'm not hearing it.
You have to be insecure. You have to be comfortable with moving forward when you're unsure or insecure about things than just playing it safe.
Yes.
You've got to lead, like that's how you grow,
Yeah.
right?
Because nothing great comes out of your
Well,
comfort
just
zone.
like you were talking about your new app
Mhm.
for your
Oh my gosh, yes.
I don't know if I was supposed to say that.
No, yes.
But your new app, but like you were telling me, like you had it on one platform, then you had it on
Mhm.
another platform, and now you're like, now I got to get people to go to this other platform. When playing it safe
would be to just stay
stick where you're
Yeah.
at, but like you are kind of insecure and
Mhm.
you know,
very insecure in that it's a lot of saying, hey, now we're moving again. Please trust me.
unsure.
Please trust me. Let's go here. This is going to be great.
You're telling them, please trust you, but you're not fully 100%. It's the going to work like you want. I mean, you showed it to me. It's amazing.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's working with a new team as well, where even though I'm leading here, I'm also having someone else lead me because they're more well-versed in app development, in these
Trust the experts.
Yes. So it's trusting those experts. I'm very insecure.
But you're insecure, but you're leading them here because you have confidence in who is leading you.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Nuggets.
Okay. You have to lead when no one else is following you yet.
Oh, definitely. I don't think.
Is that like fake it till you make it?
No, I think that's just like trusting in your vision enough that people are going to come, people are going to see it. I think like, not to use Instagram as always an example, but like when I started it, nobody was following me.
Right.
It's
kind of like me now.
Yeah. You have to start. And eventually, if you believe in it enough, other people are going to see it,
Yeah.
But you have to prove it, I think.
Well, it's just kind of like my transaction coordination company and, people have done it one of two ways, and we're kind of a hybrid way that is different. We believed that it could work before anybody else did. And we had to convince people like, hey, this is the best of both worlds here.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a try. And so you've got to believe when nobody else does.
This is it. So guys, please try our apps.
Okay. You have to invest in yourself even though no one else is.
Oh, yes. But there, you have to believe in yourself in order to see that it's worth the investment. Because if you don't invest in yourself, other people are not going to. Why would they invest in you? When people say, I want to start a business, they're not prepared to put in any investment themselves, but they want other people to invest in their business. That does not make sense.
No.
It's like, is it Shark's Den? What's that? Shark Tank?
Yeah, Shark's Den.
Where the sharks.
They want to know. They want to know how much of your own money have you put into this?
Exactly. And
how much of your time is going into this?
There you go.
I would say another way to invest in yourself, like we've got this between Audible and podcast and Spotify and YouTube, you can become an expert on anything that you want for free.
Yes.
So you don't need a college degree anymore to be successful. You need to invest in yourself, and you can get a PhD level education in whatever you want to learn about.
There's even outside of those platforms you mentioned, there's Udemy, there's Upwork, places where you can take courses. And universities give courses on these platforms.
Yeah.
That you can learn and become an expert. So most times when people say, well, I didn't know how to do this and I don't know, I just didn't know where to get the information. You haven't tried. I
was showing Bailey, I was trying to help her with something, and we were getting on Etsy to see like what people were doing, and they were making like digital stickers.
Yeah.
They were selling digital stickers. They're going on Canva and creating a digital sticker and putting it on their shop, and they're selling thousands of these, and it's an instant download. So I was able to show her how to like get on Etsy, find out what people are buying. Then we went on YouTube to get tutorials on how to make a digital sticker. Then we got a free Canva account, and she spent all afternoon learning how to do that. And then, you know, like if you really put the time into it, you just one question leads to another, which the answer is for free online on how to somebody will show you how to do it.
It's
probably
just about
for free.
Effort. You have to be willing to put the effort in. And I think that's when people say, I can't, you lack effort.
Okay. I'm trying to, this text gets really small, so I'm trying to make sure I don't repeat the same thing. You have to grind out the details when it's easier to shrug them off.
Details matter.
They do matter.
Details matter, especially when you think that they don't. Someone is going to ask you questions about it. It's going to come up at some point. And if you're not prepared, I think lack of detail is what can cause things to fall apart easily.
And I think it gives you lack of credibility.
Yeah.
When you get something from, I mean, I've had different companies send me proposals and, you know, they've copied and pasted from another proposal and it's had someone else's name in it or somebody else's thing. Like, you know, that doesn't give a good first impression.
No.
Right.
Or even when you're working with someone and you've promised something and then you lack detail, as you said, you will lose credibility.
Yep. Okay. You deliver results when making excuses is an option.
There we go. Excuses are always an option.
Yeah. But you deliver. You're a leader. You deliver results when you could have made an excuse.
Yeah. And mind you, like the excuse may be a legible excuse, but it's the fact that you overcome the excuse.
Yes. You have to search for your own explanations, even when you're told to accept the facts.
That's that effort.
Oh, that's me. That's me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I in life have realized that like people will tell you no or it can't be done or this is just the way it's done. Like my brain is wired to figure out like, why do you do it that way? It could, because we always have. Well, it could be done better. It could be done differently. But I've figured out that some people, they will tell you no or it can't be done just because they don't want to put the effort in because it is such a hard thing to do. But then you have other people that be like, well, that will push us to the max, but we can get it done.
We can get it done. Yeah.
And that's who you want to work with.
Right. And I think like the difference between a leader is that you will say, this can be done another way, but someone who is not a leader, as you said, will say, well, why, like this works. Why would I bother to do that? Why bother?
You just accept the fact.
Yeah.
You just accept the no.
Yeah. So don't accept question the fact.
Question it.
Question it. How can you make it better? I guess.
Okay. You have to make mistakes and look like an idiot.
And you have to be willing to accept mistakes or, you know, what can I say? To acknowledge that there's a mistake and you have to humble yourself.
Yep.
There. And be open to hearing.
I just went to the Zillow conference in Las Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
You always say that. But I have a love-hate relationship with Zillow. Zillow is always like pushing the envelope, and they at these conferences, they roll out this stuff and they always try to explain things to you and make it sound like it's for your own good, but really you're getting screwed. Yeah. Like they're explaining, like when they start the presentation out is, be open-minded and you're the center of this. And they're trying to convince you that through the whole presentation. Like, and I mean, I just know their MO, but a good example of them and looking like an idiot is like a few years ago, they rolled out this whole like iBuyer thing. Like
Yeah.
they were going to become an iBuyer is an internet buyer. Basically, like their whole principle of everything is taking the friction out of the process. If they can take the friction out to make it just super easy, then they feel like that's the best experience for their customer. And so an iBuyer is when you could just go on Zillow and click a button and Zillow would buy your house. And then that way you wouldn't have to list it. You wouldn't have to go through showings. You wouldn't have to.
And then they buy like a ton of houses.
They did. And they lost a shit ton of money.
Yes.
And so now they're having to say, okay, we're not doing that anymore. Which I think is kind of an example of making a mistake and looking like an idiot and then just moving on to the next thing. Like we lost a lot of money. We got out of our lane.
Yeah.
We're not a iBuyer. We are a website.
I mean, I always like Zillow because that's how we met.
I know. I meet all my peeps on Zillow.
Okay, let's do a couple more.
Okay, yeah, we just have a few left.
Yeah.
You have to try and fail and try again.
Yeah, just refuse. That's refusing to give up for me. Persistence, perseverance.
You have to run faster than you have to run faster even though you're out of breath.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think that means keep going when you're tired.
When you're tired, you can't stop. I mean, this is true. And I felt that for the last month.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Those are some great ones.
You have to be kind to people who have been cruel to you.
Yeah, I think in business, when it comes to business or leadership, you can't take it personal at some point. Like you have to do what's for the good of the people you're leading or what,
I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that are like, oh, it's just business.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're going to take it personal. But if you take it personal, you have to take it personal in a way that you use that. Like that inspires you. It gives you energy. It's kind of like Michael Jordan, right? Like he would, like if somebody would say something, he would use that to get him amped up to have his best performance ever. Yeah. And if nobody would say anything, he would make up that somebody said something in his head to get him. To get him where it was. So like, it's just business. No, like take that to heart, but use it in a positive way, not in a way to like go home and cry.
Right. That's tough. Leadership is tough.
Okay. You have to meet deadlines that are unreasonable and deliver results that are unparalleled.
Ooh. Now, I feel like this slightly conflicts with quality of life and so it just depends.
This is in your grinding phase.
This is your grinding phase. And if you want to be that leader, sometimes this is yeah. But I agree with that. Because there are times where I've just thought this is not real, but it has to be done.
Well, sometimes your opportunities don't come in a big, nice bow and package. Sometimes you're in the number 2 spot, right? Yeah. Sometimes you're just sitting in the number 2 spot and the number 1 screws up or they can't deliver. And you know what? The customer is in a bad situation and they come to you and they're like, I need 100 of these by tomorrow.
Yeah. And you need to be like, well,
I got you.
This is
and you know what? When you provide service like that and an unreasonable deadline and it's a better quality product than number 1, you're the new number 1.
Yeah.
But you can't be like, this is Saturday and LSU's playing, so I can't do that.
I've had that with different vendors where someone promises you something and then they come up with an excuse.
Yeah.
They come up with an excuse of why it couldn't be done. And it's a big letdown.
It is.
It's a big letdown for you. And it's a big letdown.
Okay. Just, I think 2 more. You have to be accountable for your actions even when things go wrong.
Yes. Yes. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. And if you cower away and try and blame somebody else, that's not a leader. And people see that. You have to be willing to say, my bad, because at the end of the day, you are the leader. So it will fall down on you.
Yeah. And you have to keep moving forward even when I can't read. You have to keep
And she
moving.
went to college.
Have a master's degree. You have to keep moving towards where you want to be, no matter what's in front of you.
Yeah, you have to keep, there's always going to be hurdles,
Yep.
but you have to keep that goal in mind.
So yeah, 17. I thought that was a great post.
Yeah.
It was just some meme on Instagram. I don't know who came up with that,
Yeah.
but I thought it had some good insights of like things that you have to do to be a leader. Because
Yeah.
again, referencing back our old podcast, like when I was growing up, people were like, be a leader. And I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And so these are like 17 things that, if you are going to be a leader, and it's not necessarily a leader of a company, or a work. It could you could do this even if you're just leading your household.
Yeah. Or
you're
even in a
leading your
sports
kids.
team.
Yeah. They're looking up to you. So,
I like it. Go back and listen to that. Different types of leadership, I believe it's called.
Oh,
yeah. Take a listen and let us know what you guys think. Are you leadership quality?
Ooh.
Until next week, guys.
Peace. Thanks for listening to this episode of It Starts With Courage podcast with Kat and Jen. If you like this episode of the podcast, visit our website, iswcpodcast.com, for show notes and other cool things.